go to Michael in Maryland. Michael, good afternoon. You're on the air on POTUS Midday. What's your thought?
Hey, thank you for taking the call. I appreciate it, and I enjoy when you're hosting. Well, I guess the thing I wanted to say is it's disappointing but not surprising that this obvious, blatant act of extreme racism is being spun into mental illness. And then we're spinning it politically into, well, immigration. And we're not addressing the problem, which is the fact that we've normalized racism again. The fact that every news station isn't going nuts right now that a man, because, that's what we call these teenagers when they're black, that a man drove the distance he drove with the manifesto to hunt black people, a.k.a. lynch, with weapons of war, but we're spinning this into immigration and mental illness. It is so disturbing from a minority's perspective, because I am a black man. It is so disturbing to just see how this is all unfolding. And it's like, I guess that's what we're going to call it. Just like how being a Confederate is part of our history, I guess now hating another race simply because of the color of the skin is now a mental illness. It's not racism. Congratulations, America. We found a way to normalize racism.
But, Michael, they're not mutually exclusive. He clearly was a racist, and I'd say clearly looks like he's quite deranged.
Yeah, no, and I guess it's disappointing when you're not hearing verbiage from, and I know it's not his show, but, guys like Smirkanish, who have a vocal megaphone, the fact that we keep treading lightly around these things, let's just call it for what it is. It's racism, and it's stemming from racism coming from the news. It's stemming from racism coming from political parties. Elise Stefanik is now backpedaling, saying, I'm a New Yorker. I didn't have anything to do with this. It's just, come on. Are we that stupid, Americans? And maybe we are. But this is a very telling point in history. And even, I'm not trying to spin this into a Trump rant either, but I think we're past the point of who's on the right side or wrong side of history. Now I think people don't even care if they're going to be on the wrong side, as long as their pockets are lined, or there's generational income, or they're owning the libs. But it's so disturbing, and I appreciate you letting me rant nonsensically right now, but it's so disturbing.
No, you're making sense, but I mean, and I think you've put your finger on a couple of things, as some of our earlier callers did. There is an advantage for politicians, advantage for people who are in the media. If things gather votes or gather ratings, they'll go with it. And the question is responsibility and what you do. And we're a country where everyone is free to say whatever they want. And it's our First Amendment. Our Second Amendment gives broad use of guns. And so those two, sort of foundations of our democracy, we're calling into question how far they should go and what are the limits, if any, that we should put on them. But you're absolutely right. There's no doubt about this. This was a racist attack.
And if I can make one more comment about people not seeing the forest through the trees, one of the last callers called in about it's tough to have 5 kids and struggle, or 2 kids and struggle when you see an immigrant family with 5 kids and they're getting help. Well, my friend, maybe your people shouldn't be voting against welfare and childcare and tax credits. Hey, you maybe think about that, right? You're so busy voting against your own best interests because you want to, again, make sure that immigrants or someone else doesn't get anything, that you're defeating yourself in the process. So I don't know. I'm not one of those people who's going to say I'm leaving. This is still the greatest country in the world, but I feel like we're watching a regression in our greatness, and Rome fell too. So.
You're right about that. It seems to be the fabric of American success and independence is frayed here for sure, in the sense that everyone is equal. Michael, I want to thank you for listening as always, and thanks for your call today. Let's go to Brian in North Carolina.